The family had enjoyed a pleasant day out in the countryside and were now returning home to the city. Their young daughter slowly counted the Buddhist statues that stood waist deep in the snow at the side of the road. 1, 2, 3. Their car rapidly picked up speed as they descended the steep, narrow mountain pass. 4, 5. By now it had gotten dark, and it had become hard to make out the way ahead in the thick snow. 6, 7. There are 7 statues, the daughter began to say, but her voice became a scream as the car went into a skid and smashed through the guardrail. The car plunged down, screeching as it crashed through the trees and hit the ground far below. It was silent for a while, and the snow continued to fall onto the 7 lonely, motionless figures standing by the side of the road. Suddenly, from somewhere, a voice mournfully whispered, "Just a little longer." In Hiroshima, there is a place sometimes called Ma no Toge, or the Demon Mountain Pass. Its actual name is Koi Pass, and it runs 217 meters above sea level as part of Prefectural Route 265. The road is quite narrow, and since a nearby expressway opened, it has become very quiet. The pass is at a much higher altitude than the city of Hiroshima, which is only 16 meters above sea level. So, in winter, snow often falls on the road, making it a much more dangerous route to travel. Near the top of the pass, 7 Jizo statues line the road, leading travelers to the top. The road has many intense bends, and there is no posted speed limit, so accidents are extremely common. Jizo is the Japanese name for the East Asian bodhisattva Kshitigurba. A bodhisattva is someone on the Buddhist path to enlightenment. Bodhisattva often sacrifice their own enlightenment to stay behind and help others on the path. Jizo took a solemn vow to guide the beings of the 6 worlds and will not enter nirvana until all of the Buddhist hells have been emptied. For that reason, he is often referred to as the Bodhisattva of hell beings and the protector of children. He carries a staff to open the gates of hells, but also to alert insects of his approach. He supposedly carries a wish-fulfilling jewel to light up the darkness. There is a Chinese legend about Jizo. Supposedly he manifested as Prince Kim Gyo-gyak on a pilgrimage to Mount Jiha. He built a hut on the mountain in order to practice Buddhism. One day he was bitten by a poisonous snake, but instead of harming the snake, he simply sat still until it released its grip and slithered off. A woman was passing by and noticed he was suffering from the effects of the snake's poison. She gave Kim some antivenom and saved his life. Years passed and Kim remained in his hut, practicing meditation. A family passed by and was shocked to see that the monk's bowl contained no food, and his hair was extremely long. They decided to build a temple in his honor and asked him, "How much land should we use to build the temple?" He replied, "As much land as my robe can cover." He then threw his small robe into the air, whereupon it expanded and covered the whole mountain. Thus Mount Jihua was given to Kim. He lived there until his death at age 99, but his body did not decay, and his dehydrated corpse can still be seen to this day. For this reason, some believe he is the manifestation of Jizo. Thousands of Jizo statues can be found all over Japan. Jizo is known as the protector of children, especially those children who have died before their parents. Children who have lived a very short life and did not have enough time to accumulate many good deeds. Therefore, it is very hard for them to cross the Sanzu River into the afterlife. The Sanzu River is similar to the river Styx in Western religion. Therefore, these children must spend eternity gathering stones at the riverbank and running from demons that hunt them relentlessly. Jizo is said to save these children, hiding them in his robes and helping them escape the demons by crossing the river. On Mount Osore, many Jizo statues stand. This mountain is said to resemble a kind of limbo for children, and it is guarded by iron club-wielding demons. In order to help the children, Jizo statues were built there. For these reasons, Ojizo-sama is one of the most loved deities in Japan. Usually local people make hats and handkerchiefs for them to wear. It is almost as if the local people are caring for a child that sits outside in the snow and rain all day and has no one to look after him. For this reason, people feel pity for the statues and make him clothes. Sometimes grieving parents may place clothes belonging to children who have passed away on the Jizo statues, in the hopes that Jizo will protect them. People often pile pebbles and stones beside the statues in order to help the children with their endless task in the underworld. In Tokyo at Tosenji Temple, worshippers may tie ropes around Jizo statues in the hopes he will aid them and grant them wishes. If their wish is granted, the rope is cut, or at the end of the year the priest will cut all of the ropes and free the bound Jizo from the requests. There are 7 Jizo statues that line this road in Hiroshima. It is said that if you look at all 7 of these statues while you are driving, you will have an accident. This legend is said to have begun with the story of a family, as was told in the opening. The Jizo statues watched on, their hands permanently held together in prayer, unable to prevent the tragic accident. According to another legend, an entire family was slaughtered in a nearby house. They were supposedly the Nakamura family, and they were murdered by an escaped mental patient. Yet another story alleged that they all committed suicide together. Several years after this tragic incident, a bus overturned near the house and several people were injured. Additionally, the ghostly figure of an old woman is sometimes seen loitering near the Jizo statues. Is she perhaps the ghost of an old woman who was killed at the Nakamura residence? Or a local woman who often took care of the Jizo statues? A man once narrowly escaped death from a traffic accident on the narrow road. He returned to the scene in order to thank the Jizo, as he believed that they had delivered him from death. He cleaned one of the statues and put flowers at its base. Bowing, he put his hands together and began to pray. Suddenly, from somewhere, he heard a strange voice. "I was hoping you would die." Shocked, the man opened his eyes and stared into the smiling, innocent face of the statue. He stood there for a long time, his eyes fixed to its cheerful face. There is no record of a family suicide pact or murder. The house where it is supposed to have occurred belonged to a construction company and not a family. It has since been demolished and has become a stockyard. There was sadly a case where an individual committed suicide in a car, but this person was not a local resident. In fact, the locals clearly do not look kindly on such urban legends. The Jizo statues are well maintained, and the clothes and flowers that are offered to them are often changed. This shows that the locals care very deeply for these statues, and do not view them as monstrous things to be feared. It seems unlikely, given what is believed about Jizo, that his statues are cursing passers-by. It seems especially unlikely that he would kill children. If we are to assume that the road is cursed, then the ghost of the old woman seems a more suitable suspect. Perhaps the statues were damaged at one time, and she seeks vengeance for this long-forgotten action. Perhaps she died in an accident on the dangerous road. A better question is what caused so many Jizzo statues to be built along this road. Perhaps they were really intended to encourage those climbing the pass in days gone by, or perhaps they are proof of how deadly this road is. With every accident that happened, more statues were built to protect those who dared to climb the road, and also to heal the spirits of those who had their lives cut short.